other than something as neutral as a sofa. But he has just gerrymandered me into this discussion. As you can see, I'm really tired after these 3 days of this festival. But Suhail kind of twisted my arm, and that's about it, and said that if you don't come, I'm not getting on that stage. So here I am, not really trying to introduce Suhail, because I'm not going to use that cliche about a man who needs no introduction and then go and speak introducing him for the next 10 minutes. All I want to say is that Suhail is a very hard act to follow. Suhail is a very difficult person to be in a parallel session with. And he's an even harder act to precede, because you really don't know what he's going to say. So there's nothing that you can say which will lead you into the discussion that he's going to have. So as you have all seen his TV persona, he's a loose cannon, but he's a loose cannon who always manages to get the cannonball hitting at the balls of whoever he's aiming at. And sometimes when those balls are hitting at a certain person who represents the nation, then it's particularly satisfying. Right? Okay. So I just want to say something serious and nice about you, Suhail.
Please, I was waiting. I thought you would mention the elevator, but thank God you didn't mention that.
No, Mehboob doesn't have an elevator. All right, I'm sorry we've got a lot of dark spaces, but I'm very happy that we've managed to pull off a festival, without any such untoward incident. Though actually, yesterday, we had Mr. Neeraj Kumar announcing.
He's right there.
Oh, great, super. There he is. So thank you. So somehow by hook or by crook, we got our festival into page 1. Because for those who didn't read the Times of India and those who did not read the Times of India, may please leave the room right now. But anyway, the fact is that at the session yesterday, he announced, he was at the session on Sixers and Fixers as to how the IPL probe was abandoned halfway because too many skeletons were tumbling out of the closet. But anyway, we've got here a gentleman who loves closets and he loves skeletons, sometimes together with each other, sometimes separately, but there's never ever a dull moment with him. But before you distracted, I wanted to say something nice about him, and that is that Suhail has really been a friend of the festival. He's really helped us in so many ways, not just that he's come and offered to close our session, but he's helped us with the sound, he's helped us with sponsors, he's helped us with this fabulous Coke Studio event that we had. And I'm impressed with Suhail on many counts. But doing this festival, I'm really impressed by the fact that he can just pick up a phone and organize an event for you. But having said that, nobody in this audience is allowed to now use Suhail for this, because it's only now our sole proprietary right. All right?
Yes.
Okay. There you go. And I'll now leave the stage.
Rule 1, always wait for women as if you are their slave. They are eternally indebted. That's why men in Delhi don't get women so easily. They won't open the door. They'll shoot if you don't give them a drink. They'll do all kinds of nonsensical things. But for us who grew up in Calcutta, the only way to charm a woman is by seducing her intelligently. Not by, forcing her away and do you know who I am and blah, blah, blah. So what is being single all about? And may I have the lights a bit brighter in the audience? Because I want to see some of my friends who I've seen cheat in the past, who are all happily ensconced with their wives in the audience today. The good thing about being single is not about who you're with. It's a state of mind. Which is why increasingly we're seeing more and more married men being single, because that's what they are. When they're with their wives, it's a matter of convenience and matter of form. But being single is important because it allows you to experience, experiment, and almost savor the world like your wife never showed you. Is being single a bad thing? I don't think many of us have choices. I've tried very hard not to be single. But as I said, it's a state of mind and a very happy state to be in. You don't have to worry about telling her where you're going. You don't have to worry about telling her when you're back. You don't have to have all that nonsense about flipping channels when she wants to see what's her name? Ekta Kapoor, and you want to see Arnab. The choices are pretty simple. But India is largely hypocritical when it comes to being single. If you're single and a bachelor, there are only two things they will call you. One is you're gay, second is you're a womanizer. I've been through this roller coaster ride for years. So I was a bit worried when she used the word closet and skeletons. So I thought she'd be pointing to that vicious side of conversation that often one is, thrust with. The second problem with India is, if a woman is single, she's dead. Divorced women have an even tougher time. Now look, none of this is, please don't, I don't want some activist to get up, but you were being gender insensitive. All of this is being said, with a sense of humor, and you can't take me to the National Women's Commission. Not that they're doing any great work themselves. I mean, some of the cows there have no idea about women's rights. But we can't say that publicly. I mean, we can only say that here because, as Bachi says, no one reads the Times of India except for page 1. I love being single. Every night you feel like Valmik Thapa about to spot a tiger. Every night. You walk into a party and you have to have this measured thing. You can't walk into where the chicks. You walk into a party and you've always got to have that detached. It's almost like that Lincoln statue in Washington. Where the guy is looking at you saying, yeah, I buggered up the country, so what? So you've got to have that detached, experienced look where you stand in the corner and never, greet a woman, hi, what's up? Always, hello. Nowadays, you can't even see her looking nice. She might send you to jail. So you've got to be very careful in terms of what you say and how you say it. I've stopped even shaking hands. Because suppose your index finger twitches, it will have an altogether different notion. And we don't want that stuff. At least not in our lives. So, there's got to be no physical contact unless she agrees with you. And I promise you, I'm saying this with seriousness, don't use elevators. A, they are badly timed. Someone thought it would take 45 seconds, the damn thing only took 19. Can you imagine? We're just in the middle of a huge romantic endeavor to be interrupted by this goddamn Otis. You have now reached second floor. And that hotel also has only 2 stories, so that's another sign. Never stay in that hotel. By the way, it's also illegal, but I can't say that publicly for fear of being sued. So I was coming to that party scene. So you've entered, there's that detached feeling. Always be elegant, always. Always ask the lady for a drink. And she'll say, no, I'm good. Ma'am, that I know. But what would you like to have for a drink? And then go up, and then she'll say, vodka, tonic or something. Always give her a stiff vodka. But not the Delhi style where they give it in such a way that the person passes out. And you've got to take her home or something like that. Because you don't want to meet someone's ugly mother. Say, you brought my daughter drunk? What did you do to her? Nothing. I just put her in a bloody cab and brought her home. So anyway, always offer the girl a drink and do it with dignity. Always ask her, may I get you something to eat? The first question a woman will always ask in her mind if you offer her a drink is this guy trying to get me drunk on an empty stomach? They're always on empty stomachs nowadays. No one's eating. I mean, other than the people who were eating outside from that Marush, I didn't find anyone eating. All the women were just like hanging around waiting for Vidhu Vinod Chopra to arrive. No one was eating food. Then conversation is critical. Pick up topics that are impossible for people to shy away from. Topics like, I was a bit dismayed by Rohit Bal's couture collection. Serious stuff. Don't go into, what do you think of Modi and all? All women love Modi. He's the paragon of virtue. He'll come and change India. So, cut out politics. Always ask the most sensitive topic, saying, Okay, many single women have children, legitimately from their previous experiences. Always ask about the kid and always pretend to know the name. So the trick is, by the way, how's Sushil. Yeah, how's Sushil doing? Such a good boy. Women see their qualities in their children. If you're able to praise their children, forget the food, you won their hearts. Closure of conversation must never happen. So the topics that you choose must be vastly garrulous. If you're introducing your girlfriend or a woman you're interested in Delhi, always introduce her as a practicing oncologist. Otherwise, every vulture in that drawing room will pounce on her. So whenever I'm in Delhi, in a party in Delhi with an attractive girl and one, industrialist type, Karti kya hai ye? What she's doing? So I said, right now, holding a drink. No, what you are doing otherwise? Always say, practicing oncologist. Acha, nice meeting you, huh? And they bugger off. Why be rude? Why be dismissive? The conversation must never, ever have two things in it. What's your number and when do we meet? Taboos. That's not the way. First time meetings must always have dialoguing opportunities for the second and the third. All the moves must be made at stage 2 and stage 3. Look, I've been told by Bachi to share all this with you so that we create a more evolved, more robust, more voter-friendly society in India. So I'm sharing secrets which I would have never shared with anyone. But you guys will go out and copy, especially the married guys. In fact, someone the other day asked me, is it tough being single? I said, see, in the good old days, we had to compete with single men. So it was fairly easy. Now we've got to compete with every married bloke. Where do we go? The competition set has really shrunk as far as serious bachelors like us are concerned. How do you make moves in stage or at stage 2? Stage 2 is always around two things: literature festivals and books. Every girl I know is a voracious reader. She may read Femina, but she will talk about Ayn Rand. Most of them in Delhi spell Rand as G-R-A-N-D. The G is always silent as far as Ayn Rand is concerned. So you've got to be very, very clear that you've got to engage people in books, with books. And I have to tell you, and this I'm saying with grave seriousness, for all those who think that women aren't smart enough, boy, I have met more bright women in my life than I've met manly dolts. It's the men who talk about books, but they've only read their chartered accountant's tax notice being forwarded by the income tax department or some stuff like that. Also, you've got to understand that being single has a huge sense of responsibility. Look at the kind of people who are single in India and who've sacrificed everything, including their libido, to make this country run. Narendra Modi, single. He's giving everything he has to the country. Rahul Gandhi, single. Mayawati, single every alternate day. Jai Lalita, single between 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. when Shashikala is asleep. I mean, look at the contribution that single people have made to India as a society. Every film actor, when he's not with his wife, is single. And look at the great movies they churn out. So, you've got to respect people who are single rather than mock them. Let's get back to step 2. So step 2 is this: books, literature, festivals. Oh, by the way, I'm going to listen to some roomy stuff at Mehboob Studios. Would you like to come? Yeah, of course. Love to. At that time, just make sure you don't open your mouth, because as I said, men have no clue of what to say and when to say it. I've also learned one other trick, which I must share with you. The written word is critical. Never invite them with a text message and all that nonsense. Even now, go to a local post office, steal the wax, light the wax, put it on the back of the envelope, and always perfume the letter paper. It works magically, especially in the times that we live in, of body odor and, bad breath. The letter must always be, as always, inconclusive. Never commit. The trick of being single as a state of mind is you never commit to anything. I've always said, keep it open. It means the relationship. That helps you to define multiple relationships at various points. Ultimately, men are sailors. They're looking at various ports of call for little droplets of joy, in a manner of speaking. I've also believed, and I've said this in my book, I've said it in previous speeches, being single in India is the best thing given the kind of female-male ratios we're throwing up. Men will always be in demand, no matter how loutish they are. We don't have a choice. Look at Punjab. Punjab today has the highest rate of happy marriages because they've killed most of the girls there. So those guys are importing women from Kerala. She doesn't understand Punjabi. That guy doesn't understand Malayali. They have a happy life. They haven't had to speak to each other for years. The other thing that you've got to respect is confidence. A girl's confidence and confidentiality. Never, ever kiss and tell. It's bad form. It sticks you into a relationship bind that you can never extricate yourself from. And you must never discuss names. Never. So if you've just been with Sharon Stone, someone asks you, who were you with? Don't mention a thing. It's very easy for men to start bragging about, their women. And in Delhi and in other cities, I've seen situations where a particular girl has walked in, the man says, you know her? I said, yes, lovely person. And always say lovely person. It's pretty ambiguous. It doesn't put you into a corner.